Hola, amigos. So yeah, for this week's start of the week, I, of course, thought it over, but actually, decided to talk about rejection and loneliness, which is something I talked about at my smoke group, but I thought I would talk about it in my weekly video. Okay, so everyone feels rejection. Like, there's no person in the world that's like, I never felt rejection. I get said yes to every time. Yeah, liar. No one has. Okay, everyone has felt it at one point or another. Some people more than others, some people less than others, but they still experience it. But, and like, I I've felt this, but I don't usually practice it. But if with rejection, with a lot of people, it just if we get rejected at least like once, just we're done. We're like, oh, okay, not gonna do it anymore. But there's this guy, TED Talks guy, and he talked about rejection and how he felt he wanted to do something like he wanted to do it. There was this certain thing he wanted to do, like job wise, but he started his own business, and his wife fully supported him, and he kept getting rejected, right, left and right, and then I think he read something, and then I can't really fully remember, but I remember all of a sudden he started going randomly. He would ask questions like one day he went to somebody's yard and he saw they were playing basketball. He's like, "Hey, can I join?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." And then another time he was on a plane and he said, "Can I make the announcements?" The announcement on the speaker, and then said, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead." And then he made a video on YouTube of him going to like Krispy Kreme and saying, "Can I have donuts but like crisscross to like look like the Olympic symbol?" And they did it, like no, it's free of charge kind of thing, and it's kind of like it's amazing, but so it's the thing is like if we keep going forward, even if we're getting rejected, eventually it's like you're gonna get accepted once out of the 10 times, out of the 9 times you asked, or you got no's, and for a lot of people that's like crushing because it's just like, what? I got rejected? That's preposterous. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And it's the same thing, exactly same thing with me. This is why I don't like my don't like rejection thing is like I don't go up to a girl and ask them. I've asked girls out before, but I don't do it unless I know that they like me. So, because the whole I don't like rejection thing, like oh no, and then it just makes it awkward, and then especially if I'm friends with that person or that girl, if I'm friends with that girl, and it's like so it's worked for me so far, which is weird, but it's that this whole strategy, this whole thing has worked for me so far. But that's how I've just gone about my relationship stuff. I just wait until I find out, and then I go, oh, okay. And if I like them too, then I ask them out, and then ta-da, you know. But until then, I just like go about my merry way, and if I'm friends with them, just continue being friends with them, you know. So that's my whole I don't like rejection thing. Yes, I know it's I'm kind of like hypocritical. Like I'm saying, oh, go and keep asking and eventually get yes, whereas I don't. But it just it's quite difficult. So, but eventually, I'll probably kick out of it. Hopefully, but it's a gradual thing. But I think if everyone never feared rejection, then there'd be a lot more. I think prosperous people. That's how I feel. But there's certain limits to asking things. Like if you ask the most ridiculous thing, hey, can I da 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 da? Oh, can I come to your house and have supper? Like so you walk up to some random person's house and say that, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of weird. So there's limits to asking questions just to see if you don't get a yes or no. So for everything there is, there's always a balance. There's always the center point where it's like it's not too crazy and it's not too not crazy. I guess. Um, and that ties in with loneliness because if for a lot of people that are lonely, they don't want. Of course, they don't want to be lonely, but they don't want to get if they keep getting no's from people. They're like, oh, can you hang out, or do you want to go out with me? And then, oh, sorry, I can't right now, or no, no, I just like as friends. So kind of stuff like that, or not, or just like I'm already in a relationship. And then it's like it kind of adds on the loneliness, and also it kind of ties in with how there's also another side to it. Like it ties in with how people feel about themselves because you could choose. There are other points where you can't really choose that loneliness factor, but there's sometimes you can. Like you could choose to go out and hang out, go to like an event that's happening, or like a small group or a youth group, or you know, there is a friend that wants to hang out with you, or or you could just choose to be home alone, and just read a book or play some video games or watch a movie or watch TV, go on the internet, play some games on there. But, that sometimes loneliness is a choice, sometimes it's not. So, it is a what is the word? Temperamental? I think that's the word. Whatever. It's a that's what I'll use. Temperamental thing for people to be lonely and to feel, to feel like not worth it. Like some people, they take loneliness into the feeling of nobody likes me. Nobody's gonna like me. Why do I even bother? I'm too scared to do this anyways. People, there's no really point at all, and so it escalates to a point where it's just like, but kind of like a point of no return kind of thing, and it's that whole not trying enough, or but it's like you're lonely and but you choose to be that way. It's like, why do you complain about it then? You're choosing that, or like people will say, oh, I'm who have some sort of issue and like I really want help, blah 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 blah, and they don't go for it. It's like, then what? If you want help, go get help. When people keep complaining, like if somebody's like, oh, my back hurts, oh, I wish it wasn't hurt anymore, I should, then go to the chiropractor, take some Advil or something. Don't just sit there and complain about it. I actually know somebody, and I kept telling them to go to the chiropractor every time I see them, and it's like, no, it's like, come on. And if you don't have time for it, if you're really busy, I get it. But if it's just because, like, if you have time to, like, for Advil, because you don't have time for that, because that takes hours. Or chiropractor, like, try to take some time, choose one day, make a plan for it, and do it. Like, I get it's kind of expensive, and I get that some people don't have coverage, but there are some people who do have coverage, and they do have time, and they do have the money, and yet they're just like, keep complaining, or, oh my goodness, I'm so distraught, oh, I'm so depressed, oh, this and this and that, and then they want help, and then they don't. And it's kind of like, what? Where do you make sense of this? I don't understand it. Or, there's just certain complainingness. I don't know if it's probably not a word, but I'm using it. I know there's just, there's some complainingness about, that it just gets ridiculous. It's kind of like, what? Like, and sometimes it's for the need for attention. Like I've in childcare, there sometimes we've actually been taught to when children fall down not to go because then they're in their head they're like, oh, I can use that. But if you like kind of laugh about it, or you just walk over and say, are you okay, kind of thing, or you just wait until see what they react, then they won't. They might not. But if they actually do start crying, then of course you go over there and you help them out. But it's so hard not to go because it's just a natural human response, and it's kind of like, or saying good job, like that's hard. It's like what do you say? Because saying good job over and over again, that just makes them, oh, if I do that, I get a kick. If I only do it if I get praise, but we don't want that. And I know this is kind of getting on a tangent, like kind of, well, I guess it's still kind of connected, but not fully. But anyways, people, rejection is probably being around, loneliness has been around for years and years, but it just, there's certain okay, there's a good thing and bad thing about rejection. Bad thing is it makes you feel stupid sometimes, and you feel awful, and then it hurts your feelings or whatever, and it's kind of like you'll feel defeated. But the good part about it is sometimes you want to do something crazy, and then you get rejected. Then it's like your life, because there's certain points where people have been like, "Can I go do that?" and they go, "Yeah," and then they die. So if that person had rejected the other person and wanted to do that, then they would have been alive. Like, you can't really know that, but certain things it's like, or like, like rejecting like drugs, or rejecting like a smoke. I'm not condemning the people who do them. I'm saying that all people who do that are bad. I'm just saying that thing that they're doing. So it's like if you just say no kind of thing, that's rejecting it, and it's a good thing. Like, or, so there's not, it's like, it's still, that doesn't feel great to be rejected, but, and, it's just, it doesn't, there's certain, I know I'm kind of rambling, but I'm trying to, but loneliness is a thing that can be overcome, and then rejection too. It's a process. Everybody feels it. Even if sometimes people feel lonely, even if they're not lonely at all. If they have a family, if they have, if they have lots of friends, they have people close to them, people who hang out with people a lot, and they still feel lonely. So it just. It has to do with the outer and the innerness of it. So, like, you work on yourself and, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's the basicness of my thought of the week. And if anybody else has anything else to say, then, they can just comment on this or tell me in person, I guess. Alright, adios.